Hello, everyone. You're in the office once again with Joseph Skoda. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about something a friend mentioned at a Toastmasters Club meeting in Santa Maria, California this morning. He talked a little bit about not just being aware of your surroundings, but being able to look upstream as well as downstream. Too often we make decisions based on what we believe to be as true, maybe past experiences, maybe what someone else told us. Now, he mentioned this morbid story, and I'll get to it briefly, but as a kid, him and a lot of his friends used to jump on a rope and jump into a lake by swinging on the rope. And they just jump and have fun. I don't know how deep the water was. But the basic line is they've been doing this their whole childhood and never got hurt and rarely looked up and downstream to see if anything was there because what's the big deal? They never got hurt before. Even though sometimes boats would come down the stream or people tubing or some other situations, and those things happen. But he told me a little bit about one of his best friends, once again, getting this rope, pulling his back as far as you can, and running and jumping off the cliff into the stream where the lake was at. Well, on this particular day, he did not look upstream. Well, like I told you, many of us do not look upstream all the time because we're used to maybe a certain time of day, the traffic's going to be smooth. Nothing's going to be out there, no obstacles in the way. Well, this day was different. He grabbed that rope and he swung into the water and let go. And when he did look upstream, there was a boat in his path. This young man, I don't even think he was a teenager, probably a preteen, hit that boat face first. And while they say the rest is history, that was the end of his life because he failed to look upstream. Now we do that often. We're crossing the street and it's something like they say, look left, right before crossing the road. Make sure there's no cars around you. But they've changed that over the last couple decades to look left, right, and left again because the unexpected can happen anytime to any one of us. And we need to be careful what's really going on out there and what could affect what we want to do. Now, my friend also mentioned a little bit about looking downstream. He mentioned, I think it was his cousin, female cousin, they grew up in the stream. This is their whole childhood having fun. And his cousin had a boyfriend one year. And they were older than preteens. They were teens and probably much older at that time. And they were tubing down the river. And his cousin's boyfriend, had an extra tube for a cooler filled with ice and, whatever beverage you can think of was in the cooler, like many of us have experienced on those tubing trips. The problem was, this was a big guy, and he thought he was tough and even stronger than any current or the stream, and he didn't tie the cooler of the beverage of choice to the tube. He kind of tied it to his own leg to make sure he wouldn't lose it. He's big and strong in case he got stopped. He can float with the cooler and everything would be okay. Again, this guy was not familiar with the territory. Sure, he's been down the stream a few times, but he'd never been to this particular section and didn't realize that there was a bridge up ahead with big pylons in the water to holding up the bridge. Well, guess what? When you're going down a stream and you're tied to it with your leg and your body goes one direction and the cooler goes a different direction and you're tied to it and here comes a bridge pylon. Yeah, it was more than just the splits being done that day. He failed to look downstream and suffered the consequences. Many of us in life fail to look up and down, or left, right, left, because we're used to, we expect something. We know it all. We've seen it all. We've experienced all, and we've never had that problem before. Never had that trouble come up before. No one ever told us there's a bridge down the road, or the water might be cold, or heck, there could be piranha or sharks in the water that you're involved with. So even if you have experience in the past of something you did, someone you know, somewhere you've been, and just had the time of your life, times often change. Sometimes we have control over what's going on around us, and sometimes we don't. Frustrating, because it could be a life and death moment for each and every one of us. And how many of us did things on a dare, especially as kids? I know I ate more bugs than I can even count as a child. But how many of us threw a rock at a car, or broke into something, or stole something, or danced around in miniskirts up and down the street? Whatever it is, many of us fall into those dares, and we dare each other to do different things. You can even do spin the bottle. Do you want to kiss this person, or would you rather do a dare? Or that's called truth or dare. Whatever it is, be careful, and don't just automatically agree to do a dare, especially involving an area or someone you are not familiar with. Each one of us has challenges. Each one of us has strengths and weaknesses. And it's just as important to realize your weaknesses as they are your strengths, so you can have better control over them. As they say, you want to work on your weaknesses even more than your strengths, so everything gets stronger in the long run. Be careful of those truth or dares. Be careful of someone challenging you to something that isn't worth fretting over, isn't worth the challenge, isn't worth your time. Didn't say back away from a challenge. I said be careful to pick and choose the ones that are real important to you. And definitely look upstream and downstream. Get the advice, the recommendations from those who've been there before you. But realize if it's older information, it may not pertain to the situation you are facing now, today. Each one of us has these challenges every day. We wake up and we decide we're going to get up on the left side of bed or the right side of bed, if we're going to take the same way to work each day. So every day we have a decision. Are you going to take the fork in the road comes? Are you going to take a right at the fork or left at the fork? Sure, often it is our driving. Sometimes it's a decision whether to make an investment, decision to start a family, decision to ask that significant someone to marry you. These are all decisions. Sometimes it's a split decision you have to make right away, especially if you're in traffic. But if you have time to make those decisions that are really important and pertinent to your life generally, take your time, study, evaluate, get the experience. And if you're going to jump in the water, regardless if you're in an inner tube, on a surfboard, even a boat in some cases, make sure that you know how to swim. And even if you know how to swim, it's a really good idea to have a buddy, a pal, a friend that you can count on. We need those buddy, pals, and friends, especially when someone's going to challenge us to a dare. And sometimes we get a little obnoxious and daring, and we're going to do it all. It's good to have that friend to check us, to help us think clear, to help us focus on what could go wrong. Not saying things are going to go wrong today in your life, but you and I both know that something will probably go wrong in the future that we didn't plan for, as we have experienced in our past. So all I'm saying is look upstream, look downstream, look left, look right, and make sure to look left again, and maybe even right again, because life is all around us, and some people are driving at different speeds. Some people are thinking at different speeds. Some people will take every challenge and anything in their way and just balls to the wall and not care about those around them. Don't get caught up in that. Find out what's really important to you before you make a stupid decision. You're going to make one or two in your life if you haven't already. And I guarantee you, as we get older, we often still make stupid decisions. Let's make sure your next decision is not going to be a life and death moment for you, and that you'll be safe and be able to share your words and wisdom with those that you love for years to come. Once again, this has been In the Office with Joseph Skoda, and I look forward to sharing other moments of inspiration with each and every one of you. Have an awesome day. Bye now.